I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad because that American patriot. Oh, he's been talking so much trash about me, about them, about everybody except America. So I'm here right now in Cape Breton to teach that dirty American patriot lesson. Buddy's here to wrestle. Buddy's here to redden Patriot's arts. Tonight, Patriot, you're going down at the hands of the saltwater suplex machine, Dynamite Dylan Davis.
Well, I'm here in New Waterford, a second-rate town to take on a second-rate wrestler in Dynamite Dylan Davis. And you might have racked up some impressive wins recently, but one win that will not go on your list tonight is against the American Patriot. I'm an international wrestling sensation with 5 countries under my resume. So Dynamite, prepare to fizzle out.
And welcome back to another great hour of ECPW Wrestling here on Seaside Communications. As we take you to the ring announcer, Sheldon McLean.
First from the USA, he weighs in at 225 pounds, the American Patriot.
And kicking off a great hour of ECPW Wrestling, the American Patriot. And he'll be taking on Dynamite Dylan Davis. And I think you can guess the type of response the American Patriot will get when he comes out here at the New Waterford and District Community Center. And the American Patriot coming out with the colors. Dressed in the Army fatigue and dressed with the red, white, and blue flag. And that is not being treated kindly here to the fans in New Waterford. For this man who's come from south of the border, and he's been antagonizing fans in the Maritimes. His persona not proven to be popular with the people in New Waterford or anywhere else in the Maritimes.
New Waterford. Disgusting. Although I will give you credit, for 6 months of the year, you're a very hard-working community. However, for the other 6, you're just a bunch of welfare drug freaks. So now, you have the privilege.
And not surprisingly, this proving to be unpopular with the fans here in New Waterford.
So now you have the privilege of watching somebody who works 365 and is a real man.
Well, indeed, the American Patriot will be tasked with a tough opponent who's equally hardworking tonight.
From St. John's, Newfoundland, he weighs in at 215 pounds, Dynamite Dylan Davis.
As Dynamite Dylan Davis gets ready to come to the ring, and this is a young man who's very popular here in Cape Breton. He's wrestled all across Atlantic Canada. And he's supporting the red and white of Canada coming to the ring. Dylan Davis, a very much proud Newfoundlander, I should say, and proud Canadian. And he's not likely to stand for the American Patriots comments. And he is quick to endear himself to the fans here. And what could be more Newfoundland than coming out to the strains of the Fables? Should be a great contest. Not much separating these two men in terms of weight. American Patriot maybe with a bit of a size advantage, but two equally matched competitors, and it should be a great contest here at the New Waterford and District Community Center. first matchup in a great hour of action-packed ECPW wrestling. Thank you for joining us here on Seaside Communications. And we know you're looking forward to seeing all your favorite ECPW stars. As later on tonight, we got a big-time matchup between Titus and Mike Hughes for the ECPW title. But we have a big one right here between the American Patriot and Dynamite Dylan Davis. James Ash, the referee in charge for this contest, veteran official all around the Maritimes. And I believe the chant we're hearing is Boo SA. And the American Patriot hearing what he wants to hear, the letters USA, but I assure you that's not what the people in New Waterford are saying. And the Canadian-U.S. relations in this arena going about as well as they are with free trade these days, as the fans firmly behind Dylan Davis and his contest against the American Patriot, and a bit of national pride on the line here. Collar and elbow tie-up to begin this match, and again, reasonably equally sized competitors, so should be a good test for both men. And a clean break in the corner. Dynamite Dylan Davis, he plays by the rules, but not to be taken for granted. And certainly has the support of the New Waterford faithful here behind him. Another lock-up here, and both men trying to establish the early advantage. And the American Patriot perhaps getting a little bit of the hair there, but he'll be backed away, and not much to choose from here in the early going. Both men, I guess, can claim small victories from those two early lockups. And just as we expected, an even matchup. And the American Patriot getting distracted, I think, with some of the people in the front row. He needs to worry about Dylan Davis. He's got a top-notch, world-class competitor across the ring from him. That's who he should be worried about, not talking to these fans who've paid their money to come to this show tonight. The American Patriot asking for the respect of the people in the front row, but he hasn't really done a lot to earn it thus far with his conduct. And I expect the fans in the crowd will continue to throw their support behind Dynamite Dylan Davis. As a lockup, and Dynamite Dylan Davis able to reverse that. Now going to work on the arm of the American Patriot. And throws him to the mat. Working an arm bar here as the Patriot looks to get back up on his feet. A bit of a rake to the throat. And James Ash making sure that the eyes weren't touched there. And a hip toss by Dynamite Dylan Davis. Working on the arm of the American Patriot, much to the delight of the fans here in New Waterford. As the Boo SA chants are now clear enough for the American Patriot to hear. And he's not liking or enjoying the reception he's receiving here in this arena. Patriot backs Dylan Davis into the corner. James Ash there to administer the 5 count. But before he can back away, takes a cheap shot to the gut of Dynamite Dylan Davis. But Davis now back to working over the arm of the American Patriot. These two have had their battles around the Maritimes. And the fans showing their support for Canada and Dynamite Dylan Davis. Dylan Davis coming by way of Newfoundland and now going to work on the hand of the American Patriot. That's been his game plan here, but a reversal. Patriot cinching in a headlock, and he's reminding the fans here the USA is on top at the moment. As he goes to work on the head of Dylan Davis. Davis trying to work on the body of the American Patriot to release this death grip he finds himself in. Patriot with a shoulder tackle, bringing Dylan Davis to the mat. Step over, off the ropes, and a big hip toss takes the American Patriot down, and another one. Dylan Davis gaining some momentum here, and has the crowd behind him going for a big body slam, and he throws the American Patriot to the mat. Going back to work on the arm of the American Patriot is Dynamite Dylan Davis. Fans enjoying what they're seeing now that Dylan Davis has seized control of this matchup. Whip into the ropes, reversal, duck clothesline, and a knee to the stomach of Dylan Davis. And he's feeling that one. As the American Patriot with some big boots on Dylan Davis. He'll throw him to the ring, throw him through the ropes rather of the ring, and onto the floor. No mats here, folks. That's not a soft landing. And Dylan Davis goes hard to the floor, and he's going to have to hope he can meet the 10 count from referee James Ash, and he's a bit slow to get up, but maybe not the worst idea to take a few seconds. But American Patriot's not going to allow that. And now James Ash telling him, you've got to let your opponent get back in the ring. That's where this is supposed to be settled. It's supposed to be settled in the ring. Now James Ash administering fair warning to Dylan Davis, who's back up on the apron on the other side now. And a shoulder to the stomach of the Patriot. Sunset flip and a pinfall attempt, and it's a 2 count. Patriot comes back with a clothesline. It's been an even match thus far, really. Not a lot of pinfall attempts. Neither competitor's really been able to get the other in position to go for a 3 count. And perhaps we're in for a long one here in New Waterford as these two still working on grinding each other down. A big neck breaker there from the Patriot as he's now in control of this matchup. He'll go for a pinfall attempt, and it's a 2, and you have to wonder if he didn't waste time pandering to the crowd, if he wouldn't have had Dynamite Dylan Davis for a 3 count, and now he's venting with the official. And again, he needs to worry about the guy he's wrestling. Don't worry about the fans and the crowd. They paid their money to be here, and they're more than happy, as they should be, to voice their opinions. Patriot whips Davis into the corner, but he's met with an elbow. Davis now to the second rope. And a shoulder off the second turnbuckle now. Pinfall attempt, and it's a 1, it's a 2, and a kick out by the American Patriot. Dynamite Dylan Davis rallying the fans to rally behind him. But American Patriot seizes control of the match. Now kicking on Davis in the corner. Now using that boot to transfer all the weight of his body and put that pressure on Dynamite Dylan Davis. Some big blows there from the American Patriot. And boy, that is a heavy chop, and that'll leave a big mark on the upper body of Dynamite Dylan Davis. And a kick to the stomach. And going for a suplex now. Lifts him up. And a vertical suplex. Blood rushing to the head. Another pinfall attempt here. And a lax cover by the American Patriot. You've got to hook the legs if you're wrestling a competitor the caliber of Dylan Davis. He will bring him back up to his feet so he can bring him back down again with a powerful body slam. And the Patriot now going up to the middle rope. Davis in the drop zone, but he gets out of the way. And the impact on the legs has got to be harsh on the American Patriot. As Dynamite Dylan Davis coming to his feet, rallying with the support of the fans here. And a big clothesline puts the Patriot down, a series of clotheslines. He's whipped into the ropes. Reversal. And what a maneuver there for Dynamite Dylan Davis. Is that going to be enough? And it's a 2 count. Using the Patriots' momentum against him to throw him down to the ring apron. Or down to the canvas, I should say. Wait a minute. That's the answer. What is he doing out here? Punch to the stomach of Dynamite Dylan Davis, and the answer getting involved. He has no place out at ringside. He's not scheduled to wrestle right now. And he and the American Patriot going to work on Dynamite Dylan Davis. And this is not a good scene for Dylan Davis. And finally, we've got some help from the back. As Super Mendez coming out to the ring. Coming to the aid of his friend and ally, Dylan Davis. And it's funny, the answer in the American Patriot.
For disqualification, Dynamite Dylan Davis.
The American Patriot and the answer were happy to be in the ring when they had the numbers advantage, but not so much when Super Mendez came out to even up the numbers. And the victory will go to Dynamite Dylan Davis by disqualification. I get the sense that's not how we wanted to win this match. This crowd wants to see more action. And the gauntlet has been thrown down for a tag team match.
Hold on a second. I know Steve Moron, so I'm going to have to translate this for everybody here. If I'm not mistaken, you two want a tag team match with us. Is that what you want? Well, I'll tell you what. Enough with the horns.
And the air horns all around New Waterford. None too happy is the American Patriot.
Okay, as I was saying, what we're going to do tonight.
These people in New Waterford don't want to hear the American Patriot.
You know what? I was just going to leave, but I have a point to prove to all you welfare freaks. Tonight, it's going to be a tag team match. Myself and the world's smartest man, The Answer, versus whatever the hell you are, and Dynamite Dylan Davis. But not right now.
And the challenge has been accepted. That's going to be coming up later in the hour. Dynamite Dylan Davis teaming up with Super Mendez in a tag team match against the American Patriot and The Answer. And it's Patrick McNeil here with you for action-packed East Coast Pro Wrestling. We've got a tag team match coming up.
First from the United States, he weighs in at 220 pounds, the American Patriot.
And you may recall earlier in this hour, this match was set up. And the American Patriot was wrestling at Dylan Davis. And there was some uncalled for interference from The Answer. And Super Mendez didn't want to have any of that. And as a result, they're going to settle it with tag team action as the American Patriot comes out with the colors and the military fatigues. And as seen earlier, not overly popular with the fans here at the New Waterford District Community Center. Host to East Coast Pro Wrestling. And happy to have you both here in the arena and watching on Seaside Communications. Should be a great tag team bout as the American Patriot waits for his partner to come down to the ring.
From Brilliant, Ohio, he is IQ of 169. The Acer.
And the American Patriot showing no respect for the ring announcer, Sheldon McLean, recklessly waving his flag around with no abandon. And the answer, who proclaims to be from Brilliant, Ohio. I don't know how far that is from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. But a very astute man, but perhaps not smart enough to stay out of trouble tonight, as he has found himself in a tag team match here. And his intelligence is not winning any popularity with the fans here, but I don't know how much the answer cares about that.
First from St. John's, Newfoundland, weighing at 220 pounds, Dynamite Dylan Davis.
And as we were just discussing, Dynamite Dylan Davis was locking horns with the American Patriot earlier before the answer got involved. And he is ready to come out and avenge some grudges, I guess we can say, from earlier. Tag team action here in an action-packed hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling, as Dynamite Dylan Davis will be joined shortly by his tag team partner, a masked sensation, Super Mendez. And see a number of fans dancing and getting down as the Dynamite Dylan Davis makes his way around the arena.
And his partner from Santa Fe, New Mexico, Super Mendez.
First look at Super Mendez here in New Waterford in action. A high flyer with a lucha mask. He may be from the United States, but he stands for what's right, and he wasn't going to watch Dynamite Dylan Davis get taken advantage of earlier tonight. And look at this. Super Mendez has a mask, and he's going to provide that to a young fan at ringside. Speaks volumes of the class this man has. But he's also a serious competitor inside the arena. And he is primed for some tag team action tonight. East Coast Pro Wrestling live from the New Waterford and District Community Center here on Seaside Communications. And we are primed for tag team action. We saw this set up earlier in the hour. And Super Mendez and Dynamite Dylan Davis not wanting to wait. And the answer and the American Patriot not in a hurry to engage. And they're being called out by their opponents. As the chicken motion coming from Super Mendez, and as Dynamite Dylan Davis said earlier, Super Mendez not the most vocal under that mask, but he's finding a way to communicate just fine, flapping his arms, taunting his opposition. And the answer, not taking kindly to this allegation that he is a less than brave competitor. Well, I say get in the ring and prove it. But originally the answer and the Patriot didn't want anything to do with this tag team match, and it appears that once again they are less than eager to lock up. And they were supposed to charge the ring together, and the American Patriot finds himself in there alone. And now he's taking big blows from both of his opponents. And a little bit of disharmony amongst the American Patriot and the Answer. And I guess that's why the Answer has such a good IQ. He's not the one that's inside getting beaten up right now. As double team effort by Super Mendez and Dylan Davis, as the Answer has left his partner defend against the Wolves here. And the American Patriot having to pay for earlier sins in the hour as he being worked down to the mat by Dylan Davis. Trying to work on that arm, which we saw him do earlier in the singles match that was earlier in the hour. And a takeover by Super Mendez, bringing the American Patriot to the mat. And again, working on that arm, and both teams look to try to cut that ring in half. They want to make sure the American Patriot is nowhere near his corner. As Mendez with the tag to Dynamite Dylan Davis. Comes up to the second rope. Gets the crowd all fired up, and a big axe handle to the right arm of the American Patriot. Continuing to work on that arm. And you can feel it in the American Patriot's face. He's feeling the effects, and now he's banging off on Dylan Davis. And he's not going to receive much in the way of mercy, and nor should he. This is professional wrestling. This is not the ballet. Patriot knew what he signed up for, and he's not liking it now that he's on the wrong end of the punishment from Dylan Davis. Just grinding that arm to a halt. Tags in Super Mendez, and good tags, fluent tags here from Dylan Davis and Super Mendez. Again, cutting that ring in half and not allowing the American Patriot to get to his side of the action. Whip into the corner, reversal by the Patriot. Oh, and a clothesline from outside the ring by the Answer on Super Mendez. And he's going to get a talking to from James Ash, as he should, but mission accomplished in turning the tide in this match. And now the Patriot unloads, and after the one punch, he's favoring his arm because of all the work that's been done on it by Dylan Davis and Super Mendez. And the Patriot will use his other arm to tag out. And it is the left arm that has been worked over, as the Answer now with some big-time kicks to the stomach of Super Mendez. As the now familiar Boo SA chant from the kids. Getting on the nerves of the American Patriot, who's now taking it upon himself to choke Super Mendez, but James Ash is tied up trying to get Dylan Davis out of the ring, and now we've got some double team action. And James Ash distracted, now back, but some of the damage already done here as Super Mendez trying to get back to his corner, but the Answer almost teasing Dylan Davis, allowing Mendez to get as close as he could without making the tag. And now the American Patriot tagged back into the ring. And another kick to the gut of Super Mendez, who's brought to the mat with a slam. And the American Patriot showing little respect, twisting that foot onto the mask of Super Mendez and knocking Dylan Davis off. And once again, Davis is going to get himself tied up with James Ash and allows the dastardly Answer to come into the ring. He has no place in there. He wasn't tagged in. And now he has been tagged in. And now they will do illegal to double team. They have 5 seconds to do that. And the axe handle inflicting pain onto the back of Super Mendez. And the tide has turned in this contest. And the answer with a gut wrench suplex and now a pinfall attempt. And you'd think a wrestler as intelligent as the answer would know to hook the legs of Super Mendez. Perhaps a bit of arrogance getting in the way. As with a chin lock, he looks to wear down the masked star. And Dylan Davis urging the crowd to give their support to Super Mendez, and it seems to be working as he comes to his feet. Punching the stomach of the answer, but then is thrown to the mat. And the equivalent of hair pulling, I guess, would be mask pulling, and Dylan Davis none too happy about these rule infractions, but tough for James Ash to catch all the rule bending that the answer and the American Patriot are doing in this match. There's another kick to the stomach, really working on that midsection of Super Mendez. Now lining him up with a big blow to the face, a whip into the corner, and throwing the weight of that shoulder. And a snapmare takeover, and a kick to the back of Super Mendez. And a big elbow drop. And another pinfall attempt, and Super Mendez kicking out at 2. And into a chin lock now, trying to wear down Super Mendez. The American Patriot establishing control of this match. And Dylan Davis taunting the opposite corner in the answer, but he needs his partner to get up and make a tag. But for now, Super Mendez has been grounded. And a front face lock proving very effective by the American Patriot in wearing down Super Mendez. And using all the pressure of his body to make sure that Mendez is kept on the mat. Now Super Mendez, young masked star, making his way to the Maritimes for the first time. And the American Patriot finds himself in a bit of trouble after he ended up ramming his midsection into Super Mendez. But he's able to tag out to the answer, and the answer able to connect with an axe handle that'll prevent Super Mendez from tagging out. And the answer going to work on Super Mendez again, and he'll bring him down to the mat. The answer goes into the corner and throws all the weight of his body with a big splash, and now he hooks the leg, but it's only good for a 2 count. And coming down off that second rope with all the weight of his body, but not enough to finish off the determined, resilient masked competitor. A double clothesline sends both men to the floor. And now Super Mendez trying to get to his corner, looking for that tag, crowd urging him on. Dylan Davis hoping that Super Mendez, but Super Mendez is so dazed he's looking at the wrong corner. Now I think he's figured it out, but can he get there in time for the tag? The answer looking for the tag as well, and he's made it to the American Patriot, and a tag to Dylan Davis. 2 fresh men in the ring. Davis clotheslining both of his opponents. Oh, and a big forearm by the American Patriot onto Dylan Davis. Ducked by Davis, and a double clothesline brings both the answer and the American Patriot down. Davis with a forearm, and the team of the answer and the American Patriot not in a good place here as the fists are flying in the corner and the crowd chanting along. 10 big punches to the foreheads of the American Patriot and the answer. Oh, and a reversal. That sees Super Mendez collide with Dynamite Dylan Davis. And wait a minute, the American Patriot trying to use the flag as a weapon. Good job by James Ash to get in the way, but what is this? He interjects another object into the match, but he ends up hitting his own partner. And now he has to dispose of the evidence. On a big knee by Dynamite Dylan Davis. Cover on the American Patriot, it's a 2, and it's a 3 count! And that is a notch in the win column for Dynamite Dylan Davis and Super Mendez. And the American Patriot was trying to manipulate the official. Trill thought he could use one weapon as a decoy for another. But in the end, it was Dylan Davis and Super Mendez prevailing. Justice prevailing here in New Waterford. And it's a dancing celebration for Super Mendez and Dynamite Dylan Davis as they've picked up a big victory here in tag team action as Dylan Davis dancing with the fans at ringside, and charismatic young man winning the hearts of the people here in New Waterford, Nova Scotia. And he's dancing his way to the dressing room with a victory. And a very dynamic tag team combination that perhaps we're going to see more of down the road here in East Coast Pro Wrestling on Seaside Communications. Dylan Davis and Super Mendez pick up the victory in tag team action.
Titus, tonight in New Waterford, I defend my ECPW heavyweight title. A title I have held for over 8 years. I've defended this title against the very best in pro wrestling today. Al Snow, Gangrel, Rhino, the list goes on and on and on. And yet I still have the ECPW heavyweight title. Now the commissioner has decided that he wants a no DQ. He's accused me of taking shorthanded tactics. He's accused me, the greatest professional wrestler to ever step foot in this province, that I took some underhanded tactics. Well, I'm going to prove to you, Scott Oakley, that doesn't matter. That's never been the case. But you've made this a no disqualification match. That's fine with me. I am the king of ultra-violence. I was a Puerto Rican hardcore champion, the master in the land of blood and guts. And tonight is going to be no different. The master is going to take you, the student Titus, to school. And at the end of the night, I'm going to pin your shoulders to the mat 1, 2, 3. And I will walk off of this filthy rock once again, the ECPW heavyweight champion. Titus, Scott Oakley, whoever is in the fans that doesn't like it, deal with it. The champ is going to stay the champ forever. And that title is going to stay around this beautiful waist for a long, long time.
And it is now time for the main event in this hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling on Seaside Communication. And this is a big one. The heavyweight championship is on the line. And it is the long-time reigning and defending ECPW heavyweight champion Cowboy Mike Hughes making his way to the ring. And if you know Mike Hughes, he's very vocal about his love for Prince Edward Island. Cape Breton Island, not so much. And he has not proved to be popular during his visits here. And he's already having words with those at ringside. And folks, this is going to get a bit chaotic, I think, as Falls Count Anywhere for the ECPW Championship. Titus and Mike Hughes have certainly had their battles over the years. Titus has pushed him to the limit in the past, but has been unable to wrest that coveted ECPW title away from him. But maybe tonight is the night, and maybe New Waterford is the place. Falls Count Anywhere in the building or outside of it, I guess. And maybe that's what Titus will need to secure the ECPW Heavyweight Championship. Mike Hughes has defended that title against a number of competitors and have scored a lot of impressive pinfall victories over the years, although at times he has managed to escape with the title by way of a disqualification. Happened in a recent title defense against Charlie Winston, but he will not have that option tonight. There is no DQ, no countouts. There could be a pinfall anywhere in the building. So Mike Hughes will not be running from Titus tonight. Should be a great matchup. Two of the biggest stars in pro wrestling, names familiar to these people here in New Waterford. And I'm pretty sure Mike Hughes has gone out of his way to make a derogatory comment to every single fan in the audience. It might be 2019 by the time this match gets started if Mike Hughes continues with all these disparaging comments. And he is getting his instructions from referee James Ash, and we're going to hear from the champion. Fans in no mood to hear it, though, it appears.
What I'd like now is for each and every one of you filthy inbred morons to shut your mouths and pay attention. You people are out here booing me and flapping your gums, but all it is jealousy. Because every time I come to this filthy island, I win gold. I've been winning gold 20 years. When I was in high school, I single-handedly won that cold boy tournament here by myself. Then I decided to get into pro wrestling, and I've held this title, I can't even remember now, it's like 10 years, and nobody's even come close. I've beaten Al Snow, I've beaten Gangrel, I've beaten Rhino, every single person that put in front of me on this filthy island, I've beaten. And still you morons think that if you guys cheer for the other guy, that he has a chance of winning. Well, I can tell just by the look of you, you're all a bunch of slow learners. So here's an inside tip. I'm gonna win again tonight. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what this loudmouth here says. It doesn't matter what this dummy right here says. It doesn't matter what this moron says. It doesn't matter what the two old guys back there who just crawled out of the graveyard just said. At the end of the day, Cowboy Mike Hughes is going to be the reigning and once again defending. Shut up! Put that horn away, kid. I don't want to hear air horns. I don't want to hear.
And Mike Hughes has succeeded in getting the ire of this fan base into Waterford.
Get this guy out here so I can beat him up and get off this filthy island again. And his opponent from Munson, New Brunswick, he weighs in at 245 pounds, the East Coast Predator, Titus.
And now Titus making his way to the ring. It is customary that the champion would come out last, but Mike Hughes wanting to come out first to address the crowd, and what thoughtful sentiments he was addressing to the people here indeed. And I have a feeling Titus will get a much more favorable response. As he comes into the arena. This is your main event, wrapping up a great hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling here on Seaside Communication. As the blue mist comes from the mask of Titus. And again, a reminder, this is for the ECPW Heavyweight Championship. Title very much on the line. And there is no disqualification. And falls count anywhere in the building. Mike Hughes has mentioned his impressive resume, and it is impressive. He has beaten many competitors, but he is in for a tough task tonight in New Waterford. And you know Titus would love nothing more than to unseat him as the ECPW champion. Very prestigious title it is, and it has been in the hands of Cowboy Mike Hughes for quite some time. But these fans in New Waterford, anxious, excited, maybe even a bit nervous, because they could see some history here. As a very dangerous title defense for Cowboy Mike Hughes. Certainly have to appreciate fans seeing a match of this magnitude on television. An attack for Mike Hughes, but referee James Ash can do no reprimanding, and there's no disqualification here. And these two are in the ring for now, but perhaps we'll see the action spill out, and Mike Hughes immediately taking advantage of the stipulation at hand. Using Titus's own shirt as a weapon against him, choking him. And again, within the rules of this match. And a headbutt from Mike Hughes, and he's going to work on the challenger immediately. Kicking and stomping him to the ground. Now using the weight of the ropes and the weight of his body against Titus. James Ash observing, and this is usually where you'd see him make the count, but no count necessary in a no disqualification match. James's job here will be just to count the 1, 2, 3, wherever that may take place in the building. Big right hand by the big Mike Hughes, 265 pounds, leaning in on Titus. And Titus whipped into the ropes. And a big boot to the face of Mike Hughes. And now an elbow. And this time, Titus, well scouted, gets up and will counter with a clothesline. And Titus now getting some energy from the support of the fans here, and this match spills to the outside. And again, and no countouts, no disqualification. James Ash is out there to follow the action in case we see a pinfall on the outside. Oh. And a big blow with a bottle of water with some extra punch from Titus. And throws him into the ringside glass. And that'll leave a mark on the forehead of Mike Hughes. And Titus finds one of the chairs, and he's going to throw it against the back of Mike Hughes. And this is getting out of control quickly. And as I said, James Ash outside to follow the action. Sheldon McLean there as well. And also a shout out to the security doing a good job of keeping the fans out of the way of these two competitors. And Mike Hughes has managed to reverse the flow of the action. And this is just completely uncalled for. Mike Hughes threatening to use a chair on one of the young fans. That is completely out of line. And now he's using that as a weapon against Titus, smashing him in the stomach. And now ramming his head into the chair. And as much as the impact of the head on the chair is painful, the subsequent fall to the floor as well, none too pleasant a sensation for Titus. But he's up to administer a chop to the body of Mike Hughes and throw his head against the ring apron. Titus now urging the crowd to cheer him on, but Titus thrown head and shoulder first into the ring post, and not a lot of give there. And Mike Hughes currently in control of this matchup, and now we have a fan offering up his chair to Mike Hughes. And Mike Hughes will take that. And he'll throw that on Titus. And this match getting out of hand in a hurry. Mike Hughes going to bring it back into the ring. And the champion in control. He's comfortable in this type of environment. He's certainly used to bending the rules, so he has no problem adjusting to a no disqualification match. But he is met with a big blow to the stomach from Titus as he rallies to his feet. And now looks to knock Hughes out of the ring, perhaps, but he's met with a big boot to counter. And first pinfall attempt of the match, and it's a 1, and it's a 2, and it's a 2 count. Mike Hughes a little bit flustered, but that was definitely a 2 count. James Ash in great position to make that call. And Mike Hughes perhaps gonna throw on a headlock here, chin lock to wear down Titus. See if he can zap some of the energy out of his challenger. Slow the pace of the match down, maybe try to take the crowd out of it as well. Cowboy Mike Hughes wrestling Titus down to the mat. And then James Ash will keep an eye to see if Titus can continue. And what has been a chaotic main event here in an action-packed hour of East Coast Pro Wrestling here on Seaside Communications. Mike Hughes just grinding away, using the weight of his body to keep Titus grounded on the mat. Now James Ash will lift the arm of Titus, which has gone down twice. If it goes down a third time, that will signal the end of this matchup. But Titus showing some resilience, keeping that arm up. Not every day you get the opportunity to fight for a prize as prestigious as the CPW Heavyweight Championship. And you know Titus doesn't want to give it up. And he's making his way back up to his feet. Trying to elbow his way out of trouble. And he is released from the grip of Mike Hughes, ducks a pair of clotheslines, but Mike Hughes able to make contact with the elbow, brings Titus down. Another pinfall attempt, it's a 2, and only a 2. Mike Hughes making Titus exert some extra energy, kicking out of those pinfall attempts. As Mike Hughes telling this crowd in New Waterford exactly what he thinks of them, and the feeling is mutual, I assure you. Mike Hughes on the second rope, taking a little bit of time here, maybe too much time. And he goes for an axe handle, but he's met with a boot of Titus, and it's going to send him all the way outside the ring. Mike Hughes too concerned about what the fans were saying, and it cost him. As Titus rolls out of the ring to chase after the champion, who's prone on the concrete now. A big overhead forearm from Titus. And he'll slam the face of Mike Hughes into the ring apron. Now Titus chasing after Mike Hughes, coming towards the broadcast area where yours truly is situated. Now Titus will throw Mike Hughes right towards the boards. And he's going to try to make a cover here on the boards. And it's a 2 count. And good work by James Ash to follow the action. And a big chop to Mike Hughes. And again, I'll be thankful for the security doing a good job because they're right next to my broadcast location, and I don't want to get in the way of either of these guys. Titus with a big right hand on Mike Hughes. As they circle around the ring, Mike Hughes looking for an escape. He has none, so instead he'll come back with a few big rights, but Titus counters with a heavy right hand of his own. And the East Coast Predator Titus chasing his prey, Mike Hughes, slamming him into the glass. Again, no disqualification, falls count anywhere, and they're now into the stands. And some of the fans in that top row maybe getting a closer look than they bargained for. Maybe they sat up there because they wanted to be a bit away from the action, but it's coming up to them. Trading big blows, and now Mike Hughes is going to go for a body slam, and he'll slam Titus into the stands. Another pinfall attempt here, and it's a 2 count. And boy, it was a false count anywhere match that was advertised, so that's exactly what we're getting as Titus sees his head slammed into the glass. And I don't know if there's anything these two wouldn't do in order to secure the CPW Heavyweight Championship. Oh, and Mike Hughes using the air horn as a weapon against Titus. And the fans have been vocal with those air horns, trying to support their heroes, but in this case, Titus feeling the wrath of the horn, and now he's slammed onto the hard concrete. Another pinfall attempt here, and it's just a 2 count. Shout out to our great cameramen here at Seaside, doing their best to capture all the action as it goes all around the ring. As Titus elbows Cowboy Mike Hughes and throws him back into the ring. No disqualification. Mike Hughes, a knee to the stomach, sends Titus to the floor and onto the unforgiving concrete. No mats here. This is tough professional wrestling as Cowboy Mike Hughes comes out. And this match has been spent almost as much outside the ring as it has been inside. And I don't know if there's a chair in this arena that Mike Hughes hasn't hit Titus with yet. And he is assaulting him from every angle. And James Ash, the official there, not only to count the 1, 2, 3, but also to make sure both of these competitors can continue. And Mike Hughes doing his best to ensure Titus can't as he throws him back into the ring. Where, quite frankly, we've seen little of this bout. As Titus slamming his hand against the mat, trying to get this crowd to support him and cheer him on. And Mike Hughes once again having words with the fans at ringside. And this has been a wild title encounter. These two men throwing it all out there. Cowboy Mike Hughes back into the ring now, ducking a clothesline. Series of right hands from Titus. Puts the champ on the ropes, literally. And now another punch to the face of Cowboy Mike Hughes. Reversal into the corner. Hughes charges, but he's met with a big boot. Titus now at the second rope. And a big clothesline crossbody, goes for a pinfall attempt at 2. Oh, and a razor-thin margin that Mike Hughes kicks out at. We're talking 2 15/16, and that might be the closest he's ever come to losing that championship. And Titus knows that he's close, but a reversal into the ropes. Titus coming with a big boot. Another pinfall attempt. 1, and it's a 2. Lincoln Steen coming out now. And he pulls out the leg of Titus. And James Ash can do nothing about it. It is a no disqualification match. And you get the sense Ash isn't impressed with Steen. And now Mike Hughes has the title belt. Titus has no idea. Oh, and he's met with a shot to the head. Mike Hughes with the ECPW title. And now goes for the pinfall attempt. Oh, and a kick out! Titus is not done. He's not going to give up this title opportunity. Lincoln Steen on the outside cannot believe it. And now he's coming in to inflict more damage on Titus. And now it's a double team. Lincoln Steen and Mike Hughes really exploiting this stipulation. Mike Hughes now with that championship belt. Oh, but he's hit in the face by the boot of Titus. And Titus goes to another region of Lincoln Steen. Now Titus has the ECPW title. It's fair game for him to use as a weapon. He has no reason to shy away. And now he's in a tug-of-war with Lincoln Steen. Mike Hughes with a big forearm to the back. And a slam into a pile driver, and it's a 1, a 2, and it is a 3. And that Cowboy Mike Hughes has retained his title with the help of Lincoln Steen. And once again, Mike Hughes bends but does not break, as he is still the ECPW champion. Stretching rules along the way, but retaining his title. Thanks to Lincoln Steen, but Titus putting in a game performance here, and maybe in line for a rematch down the line for the East Coast Pro Wrestling Championship. as Cowboy Mike Hughes has retained the ECPW Heavyweight Championship with help from Lincoln Steen. And he is being met with a rude reception on his way out, but he is still the ECPW Heavyweight Champion. And we thank you for joining us here on Seaside Communications. This has been Patrick McNeil here calling great East Coast pro wrestling action.